afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Late evening. No, early evening, sorry. Early evening.
Early evening, and welcome to another vlog. No, it's not a vlog, is it?
No,
it's a
review.
Shakespeare review.
Do you want to do that again? Start it again.
Good afternoon,
Hello.
and welcome to another Shakespeare review.
And we're
Shakespeare
in
Playhouse review.
Shakespeare Theatre of the North in Prescot.
Where are we, Kath?
I've just said.
Shakespeare North.
Shakespeare Theatre of the North.
Yes, we are.
Prescot.
And today we're reviewing a comedy of errors,
Which we saw on Tuesday,
which
14th of March.
you can see featured here on the leaflet, this bit here, with the ice cream cone heads.
It runs until, it's been running from the 3rd of March and runs until the 25th.
Yeah. And we went to see it earlier this week, didn't we, Kath?
Tuesday, yeah, it's brilliant. Shall I give mine first, or do you want to give yours first?
No, you can tell us what you thought of it. Yeah, go on.
Okay, I've just been reading there that's co-produced with the Stephen Joseph Theatre. Didn't know that before, actually, so good to say that. Yeah, we saw it Tuesday evening. It was absolutely brilliant. I loved the way they based it in the 80s.
Did they base it in the 80s?
Yeah, based it in the 80s. Comedy of Errors, Shakespeare, based in the... How did you guess? The style was very 80s influenced. And they had a song track, didn't they, running throughout, which was all 80s music.
Yes, they did.
I just thought it was full of enthusiasm. It was energised. It was really, really good, really funny. And song choices were really good. Enjoyed that. And I just thought their acting was superb. The singing was absolutely beautifully done and performed. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I don't normally go to see plays or performances or shows more than once. This is obviously an interpretation of Comedy of Errors, Shakespeare, but in a different way, and presented in a totally different way, all about, misunderstanding, misinterpretation, two sets of twins. It was just great. It was just really good.
Can I just describe the synopsis for you in this Shakespeare for Grown-Up books that we got from the
that was
Birthplace Trust in Stratford. And this just sums up the basic synopsis of what a comedy of errors is all about, in case you've not seen it or you're not familiar with it.
It's one of his early plays, isn't it?
It's an early play from it's estimated to be about 1596 or somewhere around there, and it's basically about it's twins who have been separated in a shipwreck as babies, and they're both friends, and they're in search of their twin brothers.
Well, two sets of twins, Phil.
Two sets of twins. They're both twins, but they're friends as well. And hopefully they're going to find them in a place called Ephesus, which they go to. In this version, Ephesus is actually Scarborough.
Yeah.
And the other set are from Prescot, separated by 100 miles. And it leads to much confusion for wives and friends until the parents appear at the end and sort everything out. It's kind of like a farce. It reminded me very much of Twelfth Night in that respect. It's kind of like that.
And it's
that idea of being confused identities and
But this
stuff
is
like
much
that.
earlier than that. Like you say, this is one of the early ones he was dabbling with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an early comedy, and it's not performed very much actually in Shakespeare circles. It's not one of the
Seen that many
most popular of all the comedies, but it is around. It has been around for a while. But
So, what were your thoughts on this interpretation that we saw on Tuesday evening?
well, I've never seen a comedy of errors before. I've never seen any interpretation. This is the first time I've actually seen it, and now, forever now, I will be judging every version of Comedy of Errors to this one as a yardstick. It's the most bonkers Comedy of Errors. It's the most bonkers Shakespeare thing you'll ever see.
Yeah.
And in many ways, it's a musical.
Yeah.
It's a musical.
I said to you on the night, I could actually see that on the West End
You could actually see it
Yeah.
in full production
In a full
as a
production,
West End stage production.
with a bigger cast.
Shakespeare, the musical, Comedy of Errors.
Now, wouldn't that be
As a
something?
as a West End theatre production, because it was really good. I thought it was very funny. The music was absolutely spot on.
Yeah,
It's
spot on.
It was absolutely spot on, and it kept our attention. For it was almost 3 hours long. This play,
Yeah, that's true. It was.
8
Short
performers.
interval. Yeah, 8 performers. Yeah.
and they were. It was great. It's superb. I really enjoyed the thing itself. But I thought it was really bonkers.
Yeah.
And I kept asking myself the question, would William Shakespeare, if he came to Prescot, would he understand
What was going on?
what this is all about? And I don't think he would. I mean, when you say, "Oh, I can't get into Shakespeare, I can't understand it," and stuff like that, I don't think Shakespeare would know what this was all about.
All right. Now, there's another twist to that. If, put it this way, scenario: if Shakespeare was presented every single play, could you imagine Shakespeare presented in that way, in a comedy, even Othello? How would that work?
I know.
But it was great. I mean, I know it's a comedy play, but it's just
It is a
bringing
comedy
that-
play.
It's bringing that
And
zest
it was
to
it was
isn't
done
it?
in a very, I would say, contemporary way, but they still kept to the Elizabethan structure.
Yeah.
Where it starts the if you know about Elizabethan the structure of plays, they start out with a jig and
Yeah,
they end with a jig, which is a kind of dancing routine to
Yeah.
get people into it.
Yeah.
And if you've ever seen any shows at the Globe Theatre in London, you know that they will always start off with that Elizabethan jig at the start,
Yeah.
or a song,
Yeah.
and a jig at the
the
end,
end.
which is an ending.
But like
scene.
you say, this was delivered in a very contemporary way, wasn't it? Which
Yeah.
was really interesting to
But
see.
but they kept the structure
And they
of
kept the
of
structure
that.
at the same
And,
time, yeah.
They also there was a little nod to Henry the Fifth. Sorry.
yeah.
The history play, where they have the monologue at the start of Henry V.
Yeah.
And they ask the audience to suspend belief
Yeah.
and to go along with us
Yeah.
as part of the performance in that monologue. They did a similar thing here, where they asked us to go along with certain aspects of the play that weren't quite right. I won't give you the
You can't give the
thing away, but
away, yeah.
that
'cause
kind
people
of
are still
thing
gonna
where
go
they
to
ask
see
you
it.
to suspend belief and just go along with it, whatever's happening, and which we did. I think the majority of people did. And the most impressive thing was it got a standing ovation.
Oh, and I think it was well deserved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was great.
A well-deserved standing
And it
ovation.
was uplifting, and it was sassy, and it was zany, and it was nuts, and it was
It was crazy.
it was crazy, but it was brilliant.
It's
It really was.
sheer madness. I just loved the play. I loved the production, and
And I thought the performers held the stage again.
yeah,
It's not a huge space,
No.
and you've got to really, you've got to have some acumen to be able to hold that stage, and the intersecting changes and all this of the scenes.
absolutely.
I did a really fantastic job
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
and their vocals were brilliant.
It was very entertaining.
Yeah.
It was a good night out, and at the end of the night, I thought we were in the best disco club environment in Prescott. It felt like we were in a club.
But I could really see
wasn't
that.
a
And I
theatre.
could actually see that touring as an expansion,
I could.
as a bigger performance.
Do you know what? I think that'd do well in Blackpool.
Winter Gardens is huge.
I think
theatre.
even in the Grand Theatre in Blackpool.
Yeah.
The Grand Theatre, and as a production, as a summer season in Blackpool, that Comedy of Errors would go down.
I think
a
that would be
storm.
absolutely great. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. I think you'd have them rolling
Because
in
there's
the
some
aisles. for
really
that.
classic, authentic theatres that,
Yeah.
it could be staged.
Yeah. So I think after here it does go on tour. It does a bit of a tour.
Do
Actually,
you know its
doesn't it?
next stop?
Who's the theatre company who produced it?
Well, again, like we said here, co-produced with Stephen Joseph Theatre.
Stephen
I
Joseph.
don't know where they're based,
Theatre.
where they're from, but
Yeah.
we can always give a
Probably
flash
a
up.
northern theatre
Yeah,
company, are they?
Yeah, we'll always give a flash up. on
Yeah,
that.
they were very good. So, what would you give it out of 10, Catherine?
I think for overall performance, for the visuals, for the way it tied into an 80s era, everything about it, I'd probably give it a 10.
A 10?
I'd give it a 10.
That's very good, isn't it?
Because I really enjoyed it.
Give you a bit of a cheer for that. So, you give it a 10.
I'll give it a 10.
I'm going to break my big golden rule.
What will you
My
do?
golden rule is not to give anything a 10. Or I wouldn't I wouldn't give anything a 10.
I'd give it a
but
10.
I'll give this a 10 as well. Because I thought it was magnificent. I thought it was great. And what a wonderful thing to have in Prescot. It's just great, you know. And we met a couple of people from, not far away actually, from Huyton.
Oh, yes. The two ladies.
And they're only down the road.
They had only been in the
But this
theatre
is
for the
first time they've
and
been
they
here.
were blown away, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that there's a lot of local people still haven't been here.
Yeah.
You know, it's been open. This is our, well, it's
been
still
open
in its first year now.
July last year.
Yeah, July. This July it will be open for a year, but there's still people who are not been here, you know. So
it's
I would
been
encourage people, local
8
people,
months.
to come here.
Yeah. Been open 8 months.
Definitely. So, yeah, it was great. A 10 out of 10.
That's
and
a first,
from us.
too.
Is that good?
That's a very first. But
I
from
think so.
Jointly, yeah. It's
Yeah.
good.
I think so.
Well
I think
done,
that's
mate.
great. Yeah. Yeah, so that's our review of Comedy of Errors.
Also,
I would like to see more serious, so-called serious theatre at the Playhouse.
As well as the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think ultimately this will be judged upon some serious productions. And what I mean by serious is, I mean really sort of,
Thought-provoking and
yeah, the things like The Tempest and I know Macbeth is coming off on
yeah, that's in September.
in
isn't it?
September.
Oh, it's this year because we've got tickets.
But I hope it's a serious production of Macbeth and not a frivolous, because they're tragedies basically.
I know, but it's got to be a balance, hasn't it, Phil?
There's got to be a balance. But
Yeah.
I think to get serious actors in, you know, to attract serious actors to perform in the North,
Yeah, but I think also you've got
they're
to bear
going to
in
be
mind they've only been
attracted
open-
by
they've only been
things
open
like that.
8 months.
Yeah, I
But
know.
I know what you're saying. Somewhere along the line,
They are a
They've got to
business.
branch.
They've got
that,
to. They've
yeah.
got to attract audiences. They've
Yeah.
got to build the audience up. I do understand that, but serious theatre is where it's at. If
But
you're
I
building a
think-
reputation, Kath.
Yeah, no, I think once that I think. I mean, you can only ever give a personal view on any, and people can take or leave your view of your view. It does, you know. But I think if you're starting up a venture like this, it's hard work getting people in to begin with. It's in a small town, small northern town,
It is, yeah.
and you know,
And there's no previous history of.
there's no advantage of being in London, or there's no advantage of being in
Stratford,
Stratford.
no.
So I think it's twice as much the input, isn't
I'm not
it?
being critical, by the way. I'm just pointing out a few things that.
No, I know what you're saying, because I would say that, but I think you've also got to give consideration to the fact that it's only 8 months in its prime.
Yes.
Give it time,
It's in its prime.
and then I think 8
It's a-
months
it's
of
a-
its prime.
It's a little youngster. It's
It's a little baby. It's just a baby.
It's just a baby.
No, I think in time, once it identifies that niche and then it branches from there. It's like anything that grows, isn't it?
It is.
And then, like a tree growing, it matures.
Yeah.
Yeah, spreads out roots, connects with other mycelium,
Yeah.
builds a network,
True.
matures, and you'll have actors flooding in to want to do serious performances here. I really think you will.
Yeah.
But you've got to have that breaking in period.
True.
And that could take a few years,
Yeah.
you know,
could.
good 4 or 5 years.
Just on a last note, I'd like you to show you this. It's a film. It's a film, Kath. Forbidden Planet. It is. It's a 50th anniversary
Yeah, but that's not Shakespeare.
film. It's called Forbidden Planet. It was actually made in 1957. That was the year before I was born. 1957. It's a sci-fi film.
So what's the connection?
Incredible film. I'm going to watch it tonight.
What's the connection?
Well, that's what I'd like you to tell me.
Is there a connection?
I would like you to tell me what the Forbidden Planet connection is to the Shakespeare North. If you can tell me that, don't Google it. Don't Google it. Leave your comments at the bottom of this video.
And do they get a prize?
Yeah, they get a prize.
They get a prize.
They get a pair of coasters.
And what about badges?
And possibly badges as well. And a set of badges. Okay. So the first one to do that, or the first 2 people to do that.
Well, you're asking people not to Google it. How do you know that whoever sends in the answers hasn't Googled it?
I'll know by the answers, Cass. I'll know if they've copied and pasted something from a website.
Okay.
Don't do that. Do not do that, because I'll find your house and I'll come round and I will kill you.
I will find you.
I will find you. That was Liam Neeson Taken.
Yeah.
So tell me what...
Taken 2 wasn't as good.
No, I know.
That's digressing. We're talking
tell
about
me,
Shakespeare.
what is the connection between A Forbidden Planet and
Shakespeare of the North?
Shakespeare North.
And there is a connection there.
There is. Do you know what it is?
I think I might have an inkling of what it is, but I'm obviously not going to say.
Okay then.
Yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed that little review, and if you did, then
Click the bell for notifications.
Do all that.
Like, and all the usual familial.
that's right. And we'll see you in the next Shakespeare review, which
our next one
is the end of
it's April.
April, isn't it?
Which one is it? We've got that many.
Is it She-Wolves or something like
It is, or is it in,
or
Lost in Blue?
Lost in Blue.
Lost in Blue.
I think it might be
No,
Lost
it's Lost
in Blue.
in Blue. Yeah.
So that'll be in the studio. I
Yeah.
think that's a little production.
Yeah.
And
we couldn't get to see Off Your Bonnet because we were in Scotland.
no, but my good friend Linda
went, and I bet she had a blast.
She did. She had a
Yeah,
good
she
time.
loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
And
passed on the tickets.
She's going to buy us
yeah.
a coffee.
Good.
Which is nice of her.
Yeah.
We were in Scotland, you see. We
Yeah.
were researching Macbeth, weren't we?
We were indeed.
We were going to the haunts of Macbeth and
Macduff.
and the real Macbeth
King
and the real
Duncan.
Macbeth
And the real King Duncan.
because they
Yeah.
are real people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was all Shakespeare Trail, really,
yeah,
wasn't it?
and we'll do a
Between
vlog about that.
Bath
So
and Macbeth, Macduff.
yeah, thanks for watching again, and we'll see you soon.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you on the next one.